Welcome to Michelle's Opinions. As we are all waking up, we see the changes all around us, and we're growing into this new understanding of who we are. We learn that we are limitless. We share the tools for growth and better understanding. I have 17 years of experience and many tools in my toolbox that I want to share with you to help you to understand and teach you to be the sovereign being that you are. Welcome to the family, and I hope you enjoy this episode of Michelle's Opinions.
Welcome to Michelle's Opinions. Today we're going to talk about the event, remember the yellow sun, the Mandela effect, and some other things we just need to remember. This video partly contains information that is protected under the Fair Use Act and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody. Today we're going to take a huge blast into the past, and I'm going to share some news clips with you that were, put out there for us. Also giving the date stamps of the events and kind of show you the direction where possibly things changed. We're talking 30 years ago, which is just about a generation. So actually, if we're looking at 81, we're actually looking at 36 years ago. So, when we look around at people and, they just don't get it, maybe it's because it didn't happen in their lifetime, that things have always been this way. We're also going to dive into the Mandela effect and how what I'm disclosing here has nothing to do with the Mandela effect. That effect is an anomaly that is so profound and beyond explanation. And if you are affected by this, you are definitely affected. We're also going to talk a little bit about some of these symptoms that we feel, and it is usually people who are Mandela affected that feel these different kinds of symptoms within them. It could possibly be because we're highly sensitive. We'll get more into that later. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. Let me start by showing you what happened on, let's see, what was the date? March 30th, 1981, which could have drastically changed the course of and put us to where we are here and now, wondering, where did our beautiful yellow sun go? Why is it white? And all these questions that we have. And I am not saying that I have all the answers. No. I'm on this journey, this quest for truth with you. There is not one of us that is better than or less than anybody else. We are all equals. So I used the fair use notice because I am using clips. Usually if I use a clip that is not of my own, a news article or something, it's displayed so it's obvious where it came from. Now when I use articles and I read those, please check the show more notes for the article before you start making inflammatory claims. And It's because they're there. I put them there. I had a little trouble uploading the last one because there was information in it apparently that it is no longer allowed to be spoken. So with that said, you know, I had to get some help to find out what was no longer allowed to even be said anymore, and had to cut a huge chunk out of it. But I wanted to leave a breadcrumb trail because the information's still there, because obviously it's still there because I found it. So if I could find it, you can find it also. So without further ado, let's get into what happened in March of 1981, March 30th.
This is ABC News Nightline. Reporting from Washington, Ted Koppel.
Good evening. The latest news, all things considered, is reasonably good. President Reagan, after successful surgery, is resting comfortably at George Washington Hospital here in the Capitol. His press secretary, James Brady, shot through the head during the same assassination attempt this afternoon. Brady has now come out of 4.5 hours of surgery, and the surgeon says Brady's prognosis is certainly better than it was earlier this afternoon. Secret Service agent Tim McCarthy, also shot, is in good condition. District of Columbia policeman Thomas Delahanty is in serious but stable condition. We'll bring you the last word on all developments at the end of this broadcast. But first, we want to examine some of the serious issues raised by today's events. The president's security, the question of who runs the government when the president is incapacitated, and the issue of how the United States must act with regard to the rest of the world at a time of perceived crisis. But first, that now famous piece of videotape. Watch it and listen to it.
Doesn't make much sense, Henry. He puts you here and then he runs around where he turns. President Reagan! Back up! Get him out! Get him out! Get out, Fat! Get him out! No! The ambulance! All right, stay back! Get back! Get the ambulance! Green! I got one! He's in the car!
Now this event actually happened on March 30th, 1981. So that was actually 81 in 2019. That was 38 years ago. But where I think things changed will be coming up next. But first, let's have another look. And let's see what you guys can see with this horrific event that happened to President Reagan.
Back up! Get him out! Get him out! Get out, Fat! Get him out! No! Get the ambulance! All right, stay back! Get him back! Give me a car! Give me a patrol car! Give me a patrol car up here, officer! No! Get it up here! Come on! Get that fucker up! We need a control. Call for an ambulance, quick. Somebody help this dog. Get out of here! We gotta get a unit. Get us a marked unit. Get some marked unit so we can get out. Get a patrol car. Hey, Joe! Give me an outfit. Come on, guys. Yeah. Hey, Joe! Joe, give me an outfit. We gotta get this out, Kobe. Get in. It's out 38. Move it on there. Come on, sir. Back over here. Back up. Who's got it? What is this weapon? Car! In a handkerchief! No! Yeah, we got one. Give me that mic. Get out of the way! Back up. Keep going. Here you go. Back up. Back up. Get back. Let the ambulance in here. Come on, back it up, please.
Now, let's go forward a few years. And we're looking at March 23rd of 1983. And this is the introduction of the Star Wars plan. I've gathered several clips from different news outlets. I think mainly most of them are ABC News. But take a look for yourself. And if you'll notice, all of these different speeches are in front of different audiences.
I think maybe I'd answer it this way. I keep, in my frustration sometimes, you know, actually, if you count some of the things going on in smaller countries and all, there have been about 114 wars since World War II. But I've often wondered, what if all of us in the world discovered that we were threatened by a power from outer space, from another planet? Wouldn't we all of a sudden find that we didn't have any differences between us at all? We were all human beings, citizens of the world, and wouldn't we come together to fight that particular threat? Secretary Gorbachev, when you stop to think that we're all God's children, wherever we may live in the world, I couldn't help but say to him, just think how easy his task and mine might be in these meetings that we held if suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe. We'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really are all human beings here on this earth together. Well, I don't suppose we can wait for some alien race to come down and threaten us. But I think that between us, we can bring about that realization. We often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
Now I'm going to be reading an article about the moon simulator. Often, us affected remember our nice, beautiful yellow sun, which is now just white, and we miss it and we long for it. Well, China has just released that they're going to be putting up a moon simulator. So they want to do away with street lights. So let's go on and read this article. And again, under the Fair Use Act, I will be linking the article in the show more notes, so please look there so you can read this for yourself. The world's first artificial moon can be launched by 2020, China Daily reports. China's space industry is preparing to put an artificial moon into orbit over the city of Chengdu. I'm sorry if I butchered that. The fake moon is expected to be launched from the Xchang Satellite Launch Center in China's Sichuan province. I'm not good with the foreign languages, guys, sorry. The artificial moon will act as a nightlight, similar to the real moon. The artificial one will have reflective coating and deflect sunlight to the earth. Only it will shine 8 times brighter than the real moon. Kind of sounds like our white sun today, doesn't it? Scientists say, according to China Daily, the object has a planned orbit of about 310 miles above Earth, which is much closer than the real moon, which orbits the average distance of about 239,000 miles from our planet. The artificial moon will be brighter than the one we're used to, according to Wu Chengfeng, head of the Tianfu New Area Science Technology of Chengdu, who spoke to China Daily. It would replace some street lights in Chengdu. I am so sorry if I'm butchering these names. Okay, we'll help conserve energy, and it won't light up the entire night sky. The location of its brightness of its moonbeams can be controlled and targeted to light up specific areas. The news outlet reported. Life Science reports that little is known about the height, the size, and the true brightness of this proposed artificial moon, all of which could affect its visibility. The launch of the moon, if the launch of the moon is successful, 3 more could follow in 2022. Wu told China Daily. Wu estimated the city of Chengdu could save around 174 million or 1.2 billion yuan in electricity over a year if the artificial moon illuminates 31 square miles of the city. Artificial moonlight could also serve for other purposes, he suggested, like illuminating disaster zones during blackouts. What's going on in our skies? I remember seeing these daily. Every time I went outside, I saw planes going across, making crisscross patterns. I don't see it anymore, but I did. It was a part of my life at some point. But we call them chemtrails. Others call them contrails. I look at it now, with new eyes, because my mind is open to anybody's perspective on this. But it's like spraying a screen to project off of. Like those old movies where they would pull down that big white screen and, then they would project with that old projector, that film, onto that white screen, so that way the image would be on the white screen. And this kind of goes hand in hand with the last post that I made about Project Bluebeam, where I had a really hard time uploading it and had to take a bunch of it actually out of there. But this is something I want you guys to think about when we're looking to the skies. I've captured a few more images that I want to share with you. So let's move on. Many people have speculated that our white sun is an actual sun simulator, and that's why we do not see our beautiful yellow sun anymore. Also, images like this, and also images of a man working on a I mean, this thing was ginormous. And he was working on it, but what the heck was it for? What would be the need for something like this? But it does put out some really beautiful rainbow colors around it. At least the sun that we have now sure does. We see rainbows around it and orbs and circles and you name it, we see it. So yeah, something to think about. Although this has a hint of yellow, it does have that huge round orb looking circle around it that we're seeing in many of the sky footages that are being taken by us with our cell phones, and sky watchers are putting these images out for us to be able to see these anomalies going on right before our eyes. So of course we're going to question what's going on, especially since, you know, things have been revealed to us over time. It's just, you know, when you're talking like the beginning of this one, you know, 38 years ago, many people weren't even alive back then. How could they remember, or are they even studying about these things that happened in our past? Things that we, I don't want to give away my age, but would remember. We do remember. And that is the important thing, is to keep our memory, which is going to lead us into the next topic, which is the Mandela effect. With the Mandela effect, it's much more than just seeing sky anomalies and noticing that our sun has turned white. There is so much more to that than just sky phenomena. These are actual changes that do not match the memories. As I presented earlier about what happened to President Reagan, there's a huge difference in what I was taught and what I was shown and what I remember about John F. Kennedy. These are our actual memories. I've had physical things in my hands change, and I remember it to be something completely different. Also, I want to talk a little bit about affected people. Some may call us even targeted individuals. We're more sensitive, and that could possibly be why we have that horrible ringing in our ears when they're firing off whatever it is they're trying to display in the skies, that we're hearing those high-pitched frequencies. It's just something to think about. And as frequency and energy is exchanged, and we know that about our very beings, and it has popped our awareness to the potentials that are absolutely limitless, we realize that everything is a dance and an energetic dance. But if we're playing with energy using technology and AI, some people can actually be affected by it, and it can show symptoms within their being. Just food for thought. But as we learn and we grow, we can then learn to control our own energy fields and help to shield ourselves up. As the Bible says, put on the full armor of God. So when we're thinking about the Mandela effect and what is going on with that, that is a phenomena all on its own. And I don't think we quite have our fingers on what the heck is going on with that. This other stuff that I'm bringing forward can be explained away to some degree or another, still open for debate. But I have to say, if China is releasing the information about putting a moon simulator up, you guys know how it goes. The population's always the last to know. So what they've done decades ago, we probably won't even fully know or have disclosure for another decade or so. So it's just something to think about. I miss the yellow sun. This white sun is hotter. It burns your skin faster. I am finally got that under control with the ear ringing, but it still happens occasionally. But I just combat it back. But the Schumann resonance and all of that kind of is tangible evidence that we can look at could be actually that whatever they have in Russia, that equipment, could be picking up on these technology frequencies using the sound and these laser technology, and it's affecting the readings of this place altogether. I'm not going to say whether it's flat or it's round. I think it's more important for us to understand who and what we are, and that we can create. We have these very abilities as the children of God, and that we need to wake up to all of our abilities and gifts. We're already using them. It's just a matter of, knowing that you've been using them your entire life. And I hope that this was educational for everyone and help you understand what I'm trying to bring forward here is not everything is what it seems. And with discernment, we will know. We will know them actually by their fruit. Right? And also you can, from the last post I made, if you're having thoughts of depression and suicide or killing people or, these kind of thoughts, well, use your discernment. Because if you're getting messages of love and unconditional love and love thy neighbor as thyself and treat others as you want to be treated and the universal law, well, there's discernment right there. I mean, it's really truly that simple. So yeah, being Mandela affected is not easy. People, until they're affected, excuse me, until they're, my goodness, okay, until they're affected themselves, people do not understand. They just don't get it. They just don't. And we also all have lives that we're living, and things are coming up in our personal lives that are going on, that people just don't know about. This is, the internet. And, you're not going to know every step, detail, emotion, or what's going on within my being. We are so deep and so complex and so beautiful that we're absolutely beyond comprehension. You can't even define our beings. It's just, we don't have the vocabulary for it. So I hope this was helpful. And remember about the event. Do not be deceived by anything that is projected out. Please remember, they told us about this. They did open shows for us. But they depend on us being so busy, running that hamster wheel, paying our bills, going to work, and to keep us so busy and distracted that we forget. Because universal law still applies. No matter what side of the fence that you're playing on, you have to disclose it. But it is up to us to remember it. I love you all so much. Have yourself a wonderful day, and I will talk to you all soon. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell to be notified of new postings, premieres, and live shows. If you'd like to sponsor the channel, the links are below. I have both Patreon and PayPal. And thank you, channel supporters. Without your support to keep things going, I don't know where I would be. It's people like you and your generosity that helps the work improve and for us to be able to grow. Thank you.